Hello YouTubers, and welcome back to Go Figure Customs YouTube channel. You probably hopefully saw my last video where I did the review of the Joy Toy Heavy Air Cavalry figures, the A and B, and saw that I mentioned that I am no longer working overseas. So that probably is going to cut into my Joy Toy budget a little bit until I figure out what I'm doing for work. But I'm also looking forward to doing more customizing, which does suffer while I'm away. And I have a couple customs planned. And my review of my custom action figures actually went over pretty well, so I'm going to continue that as well. Right now, I'm going to do the review of the three regular 10th Legion Flying Cavalry Troopers, A, B, and C, or A, C, and B, or maybe even C, A, and B. Who knows? But actually, just due to anal retentiveness, it probably will be A, B, and C. So let's look at A first, huh? Shrink wrapped, like the heavy cav guys, in a window box. So, you know, the three big things that I always hit on are packaging, playability, and customizability. And I do like the window box because they're very stackable and then very displayable. So if you're a mint and box collector, whoop, it's in the box upside down. Look at that. All right, that's pretty funny. So yeah, if you're a mint and box collector, maybe this one doesn't work for you because the figure's in the box upside down. But, you know, normally it would be pretty cool. I am kind of a little disappointed that they moved away from the stackable plastic figure tubes, because I think it's such a fantastic idea and a great way to store and display figures, even though I don't use them myself. And I have just a big tub that's just overflowing with them, and even though they're just taking up space, I really like the concept and I really like the idea. So part of me is glad they moved away from that, because now I don't have a second tub that's overflowing with these things. But at the same time, I really, really like the idea. All right, so packaging is awesome. Mine is going to go straight into the trash because I opened these. The package insert has the Battle for the Stars logo, 10th Flying Cav Type A. The insert shows a front and back picture of the guy geared up mostly, and then shows you how to take it apart. Of course, always the caveat is everything's interchangeable, and if you're going to switch stuff out, be sure and heat it up first. And of course, if your joints are stiff when you take your figure out of the box, heat it up so you don't break joints. Keep away from fire, handle with care. The leg armors can be installed after removing the knee joints. The parts can be disassembled and installed easier after being heat. I think that's supposed to be broken, but they've spelled it wrong. Parts can be fixed by glue. So there you go. It's the same insert as we always get. More or less, because usually it has a picture of the guy geared up and a picture of the guy with all this gear in front of him. So that's a little bit of a change. This one is not sealed by tape like the last ones have been. Trying not to make a mess here. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna dump it all out. There we go. All right, so what we got here? We've got the really nice body armor. I like the paint scheme, the kind of off-white, eggshell white with the dusting of dirt on it. Head sculpt's pretty cool. That might be a new head sculpt. I'm not 100% sure. I've kind of lost track of who's who. I like these heavier armored figures. My joints are pretty loose. Not seeing a need to heat anything up. And we do have interchangeable head instead of removable helmet. That is kind of my only meh, is I would prefer a removable helmet for functionality and playability, but at the same time, since I will display my figure with the helmet on, suddenly I have a whole bunch of heads that I can customize that are fairly unique. So it's kind of a win-win situation for me, because I won't, kind of what I had thought about doing with these guys is for my own display, because I've got all my Joy Toy figures on the deck of my second USS Flag, is I thought I would put these guys in a pose, a flying pose, get a little bit of fishing wire and hang them from the ceiling above the deck of the Flag so it looks like they're flying. That's kind of my plan for what I'm going to do with these guys. So, and I think that'll look pretty cool. All right, compared to the heavy cav, it is a bit of a different sculpt on most of the armor. Well, on the chest armor for sure. The leg armor, I think, is the same. It looks the same. It just doesn't have the exosuit like the heavy armors do. And then, of course, the jetpack is all one piece, or is different than the other ones. And it's all one piece. It's kind of feels a little fragile, though. It's not a softer rubber like the figure is, or the armor. And it looks like stuff should come off, but it doesn't. I think they could have built in joints into the engines for rotation, but they didn't. It's kind of a fixed thing. It pegs right into the back, like so, and it stays in pretty well. If you've watched any of my customizing videos, I talk about rare earth magnets. This is where that would be if I was going to customize. This is where I would do custom like that, custom modification. I would cut off the peg of the backpack and Dremel out the support a little bit and glue in a rare earth magnet, and then I Dremel a small hole in his back underneath the armor and glue in a rare earth magnet there, and then the backpack would stick to him via magnet, and it works really well. I've done that on several of my customs. All right, so we got a pistol. Oops, I like that pistol. Kind of Blade Runner-ish. And it has that soft clip on his right leg for it to be held in there. So the best way to get it in there is wedge it under one and then stick your thumbnail under the tab and pull it back, and then squeeze that pistol in there and then let it go, and then kind of push it back together again. It does come with the set, 2 other sets of hands. We've got a set of fists, and then a set of like holding something, and then of course like trigger finger hands on the body. No extra joints. There's a removable scarf on the neck, and then this is his primary. I was gonna say primary and only weapon, but he does come with that pistol. No knife, like the heavy cav guys came with. I think we've seen this weapon before. I like the sculpt though, so I'm happy with the sculpt. And then put his backpack back on, and there's your heavy, or your I guess light cav. You'd call these guys light cavalry. It doesn't say that on the box, but that's what I would call them, because you got your heavy cav and then your light cav. So there's your air cav figure A, and I'll do it once I get all these out of the box. I'll flip the camera around and show them to you a little better. Playability, this is fantastic. I mean, there's good range of motion, good articulation. It's the good articulation that we've come to expect from Joy Toy. The product seems very stable. Nothing feels fragile except maybe the backpack a little bit, but yeah, no, the paint job's phenomenal. It's a nice solid figure. Let's see, let's get B out. And I think pretty much these are essentially just repainted figures with different head sculpts, and I think the helmets are different for each figure because it looks like the backpack is the same. So yeah, the playability is great. Window box, of course, for B. It says B on there. And then picture the back on the back of the guy with his gear all out. Hey, my guy's right side up on this one. How about that? Yay, quality control, huh? All right. So it's kind of a little, very light tan and a very dark, dark bluish gray for the paint scheme. Let me just drop the insert. I'm assuming it's the same as the last one. Yeah. Picture of him geared up, one with the helmet, one without, and how to take it apart. Let's see here. It's taped. Trying to pry it apart with a mess. Nope, that's good. So while I really love the heavy air cav guys, my kind of like thing that I didn't like about them is they came with so much gear that they can't hold it all. And that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I like a lot of gear, but I like my figure to be able to hold it so I don't lose it. And that's what I like about the lighter guys, these three, is that they come with just enough gear. There's enough gear to make me happy, and it all fits on the figure simultaneously, of course, except for the hands. But I don't switch out the hands, and they will go in a bin so I don't lose them. And I may eventually end up using them for customs. All right. Yeah, it's the same sculpt as the first one. The belt is a little different, I think, because the pouches aren't the same on it. Let me have a look at the front. Yeah, the belt's different. Everything else is pretty much the same, it looks like. The sculpt on the thigh pads is a little different too. And the knee pads. And the lower. So it's not entirely the same figure. It's not entirely a repaint. So the armor on the B figure is different than A. Let's have a look at the backpack, see if it's the same. Yeah, it's the exact same. I mean, it's the exact same paint job too. And the helmet is different. So let's swap out heads real quick. The heads on these swap out pretty nicely. I've had some where you need to heat them up to get them on the pegs right. I love the head sculpt. I really kind of wish they would do like an accessory pack where they'd have, you know, all the helmets and all of the guns, because I would love to have a bunch of them for customs. And as far as customizing goes, because I've already talked about the packaging and the playability, the customizing is the same as I mentioned in the previous video. It really just is the limit of your imagination on this. Just a simple repaint would make these things would make it awesome. It's kind of, let me get that gun in there first. Just a simple repaint, if you want to customize it, would be awesome. Or I think these would make fantastic Mandalorian customs too, because the armor is just different enough. And if you used like a random Mandalorian helmet on these guys, I think that'd be pretty awesome. The gun that he comes with is the same as the other, and the pistol is a different pistol. But it's one of the same ones that came with the heavy air cav guys. And it just fell out of the peg. There we go. So yeah, one of the complaints that I've seen recently about the hands being too soft to hold the weapons. Mine seem to hold the weapons just fine. And I mentioned in the previous video as well that I would much prefer softer hands as a G.I. Joe, vintage G.I. Joe collector, so I'm not breaking thumbs off. Because that is, nothing is as sad as breaking a 30-year-old vintage G.I. Joe figure. Luckily, I haven't done that recently. I've got a pretty good understanding of which figures come with weapons that are going to break thumbs, and I make sure those guys don't hold their own weapons. All right, so yeah, head sculpt's different, the armor's different, belt's different. The accessories are the same pretty much, but it's amazing just what a good paint job will do to make it look different than the you know, almost identical figure otherwise. Okay, that was light cav B, and as usual, I got these from Locker Toys. They are in stock currently. I always try and do the pre-order so you get the discount. And they had a big special on these about a month ago for the like all-in April kind of thing, and you got a huge discount and like double reward points if you did the all-in. I did not do the all-in because part of that all-in package was the mech display diorama pieces, and I like them. I think they look fantastic, and I've seen people do cool things with them, especially for photography, but I just don't really have a place in my collection to set stuff up like that, and I've already got my Joy Toy stuff set up on a display that I like, so I'm not going to change that. And I may actually change that because I've been thinking about, because the deck of my flag's getting really crowded, because I keep getting Joy Toy figures. So I've been thinking about moving the Battle of the Stars figures over to my Defiant play set, but I haven't done that yet. All right, inserts the same posed helmet. Excuse me, with and without helmet, front and back. How to take it apart. Use heat if you're going to take it apart, and everything is interchangeable. Figure. Comes with the same rifle as the other two guys. Comes with the same pistol as figure B. I think, is that the same pistol? Yeah, it's the same pistol. Same pistol as B. The head kind of looks like the one off of B2. Nope, it's different. All right. And then I really like that head sculpt. And yeah, I think these are probably going to end up on customs because I like having the helmeted figures, or having the figures helmeted and not having removable helmets instead of interchangeable heads. And like I said, I'm kind of on the fence on that. You know, I think a removable helmet adds a lot of playability to it. But at the same time, then it's like, here's a whole bunch of new heads that I don't have for customs. Backpack's the exact same as the other three. It's painted the exact same. You know, they probably could have gone out of their way to make the paint different on each of the backpacks. But at the same time, it's kind of a uniformity thing too. So, you know, I don't know. Either way on that, I think. Some people will like it, some people will nitpick it. Can't get everybody happy all the time. The armor is definitely different than the other two. Chest armor looks like it might be the same. Nope, chest armor is different. So all the armor on the figure is different in between all three figures, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, it comes with the extra 2 sets of hands. So there's your guy all geared up. It's kind of a dark olive drab green with maybe kind of a blue tint to it. Let's get his gun in his leg holster here. Yeah, so there's your guy all geared up. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera over and we'll get a good look at these guys real quick here. All right, so here we go. Here's A. B. And then C. These really are fantastic figures. I really love the concept of the jump, like Air Cav, futuristic Air Cav guys. And these guys are fantastic figures. If I had endless amounts of money, I would probably army build these. They are that cool. All right, let me flip the guys around and we'll have a look at the back too. All right, so here's the back of them, all geared up. You can hear my wife trimming the dog nails in the background. So hopefully this will be the last video that I'm shooting like this. I'm planning on doing a more, putting together somewhat of a, I don't know if I would call it a studio, but something to review figures a little bit better than this. So hopefully on the next review, we'll have something a little nicer display to review figures on. All right, let me flip the camera around and we'll finish this off here real quick. All right, so that's all 3 of the figures there geared up. My pros and cons. These are fantastic figures. The articulation's amazing. Paint details are off the charts. I love the fact that each one of them has unique armor, so they're not. So it's not just a straight repaint. My cons, I'm 50-50 on the removable helmet versus the interchangeable head. I would prefer to have a removable helmet, but at the same time, having extra unique heads for customizing is a definite plus for me as well. And then kind of just nitpicking that the backpack has the same paint scheme for all 3 figures, because the Air Cav, the heavy Cav guys, their wings are both different colors. So I think that adds a little bit more maybe characterization to it. But at the same time, having all 3 of them the same color kind of adds some uniformity. So, you know, I could go either way on that. Neither of those detractors are something that would stop me from buying these guys. And if you are wanting to buy these guys, Locker Toys has all 3 in stock at the moment for $26.43 a piece, plus shipping. I don't know what the shipping is because that's going to vary on where you live. But as per usual to me, it takes 3 days to get from Hong Kong to my door, which is amazing. So are they worth 26 bucks a piece? Yeah, I think they really are. I saw something on Facebook today saying that they're noticing a significant increase in people buying Joy Toy figures. I think people are realizing that the quality control issues for like 99.9% of the time have been addressed, for the joints and the legs not being able to sit like in a vehicle. And people are seeing that these are really cool figures, and they're just desperate for awesome 1/18 scale figures, because who is making 1/18 scale figures right now? There are still some of the Star Wars vintage collections being made, but man, unless you pre-order the set from Big Bad Toy Store, you're not going to find those in the store. And then G.I. Joe, the retro collection, I mean, I'm not impressed at all, and I have yet to see one retro figure in the store where I live. My co-host, I think he has seen them once, maybe. He'll correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I think he's seen them like once in the store, maybe not even that. Luckily, the couple that I wanted for customs, my buddy Sean Grogan was able to get me the figures that I wanted to use for customs, but it really just is kind of a drought for awesome 1/18 scale figures, and Joy Toy is happy to fill that niche, I think. So I think a lot more people are picking these things up. So if you're wanting to get these things, I would get them sooner rather than later, because once they sell out, they sell out. So those are kind of the pros and cons, more pros than cons. The cons really aren't detractors. They're just kind of personal opinions. I don't see any flaws, like physical flaws with these figures that would say, you know, you might want to skip this set because, and I've recommended skipping sets before. There was one set where the helmets didn't fit right. They did end up issuing replacement helmets for those guys, but still, you know, it's like, if you can spend that kind of money, it's like, maybe you want to skip this set. And I've also recommended skipping a couple of the realistic military sets, because if you've been buying these guys like I have, you might not need these guys because you've got a bunch that are already pretty much like that. But at the same time, you don't have these guys. You don't have guys like this in your collection unless you've already bought them. These are fantastic figures, and I absolutely love the playability of these things. And like I said, I think what I'm going to do for display is I'm going to set them up in a like some sort of flight pose, and then I'm going to put some fishing line probably under the arms, and then I'm going to hang these from the ceiling above the deck of my USS flag that all my Joy Toy figures are displayed on. It's always kind of a pain in the ass. It's like, oh, it shouldn't take too long, but it takes longer than I think it does. Luckily, I won't have to screw in a hook for these guys. A thumbtack should be able to hold these guys up to the ceiling, but I think that's where these guys are going to go. I definitely recommend these guys. Definitely 2 thumbs up on these. I don't see any reason to skip these. I do think they are worth every penny. And, you know, that's about all I got for this this particular episode. So, as always, thanks for watching. Comment, do all that fun social media stuff. Comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate everybody's comments. I do try and get back to everybody. I haven't done that yet since I've been home. Give me a couple days to get over my jet lag, and I will respond to everybody's comments. And now that I'm home, I should be able to do that a little more frequently. And then like, share, subscribe, comment. And I, as always, am very thankful for everybody that subscribes to the channel. So thank you very much. And I think that's about all I got. So thanks for watching.